second DNA came back, and once again, just a lonely, helpless feeling that there was nothing that we could do.
Do you recall making your first appearance in this case?
I do.
And was this the first time you had ever appeared in a courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Prior to that, what was your perception about the courts?
I mean, similar to what we're dealing with right here, just very sort of what you see on TV. You know, everyone's very quiet. Everyone's respectful of the judge. And, you know, it's sort of a, you know, everyone just sits in their chair and waits for the judge to tell you what to do. And this was in no way that kind of situation.
Had you ever thought about becoming an attorney yourself?
I have, and I hope to someday, eventually.
Describe what happened when you arrived at your first court appearance.
Well, we came out of the parking garage, and we were, as soon as they saw us come out of sort of the little tunnel there, all of this media, just a swarm. I mean, that's the only way I can really describe it, as a swarm of media came sprinting over. And I really never had to deal with the media the first time, other than when they attacked my car. I mean, I sort of beat them to my car before I got there. And when we were walking up towards the doors, there were Black Panther representatives, or whatever you want to call them. They were dressed in fatigues, and amid all of this chaos with the media, I mean, I even remember I planned on keeping my head up so everyone knew. I never wanted to put my head down, and that was something that I walked into it saying, you know, I'm going to look at this as an opportunity for people to see who I am. And I mean, you could barely walk, because the news media was so close in front of you that you were worried about stepping on whoever, you know, whatever correspondent was standing in front of you. And as we were walking, and I couldn't see my dad. We just had to do it as fast as we could, and it was just my dad. I think it was Kirk, my dad, Buddy Connor, and myself. And while we were walking in, the Black Panthers started screaming out it felt like from all different angles. I might be wrong, but I remember it that way. They kept saying, "Justice will be done, rapist." They said, "You're going to get yours, rapist." And from trying to hear that, and I was trying my hardest to keep a straight face. I mean, you don't want to, you never want to, in anything you do, you don't want to let people know that they're getting to you. But I mean, I was terrified. I was completely terrified, and I didn't know. I mean, I don't know. I already told you I'm known as Mr. Flustered, so you can imagine what you know that kind of situation was doing to me. I mean, I didn't know whether someone was going to hit me from behind or take a shot. I had no idea. I'd never been in a situation like that before in my life, and I mean, like I said before, like a gauntlet. We were just tucked into this pocket of media and Black Panther and people holding up signs saying things like zero tolerance and all sorts of different things. And I mean, finally we were able to get to the doors.
What happened when you made it inside the courthouse?
I think briefly we went into like a little conference room to the side that they reserved for us, and then we went. Once we got into the courtroom, that was my first experience sitting in the courtroom, and it sort of looked different than I anticipated. I pictured something like this, but we walked in, and there were tons of people sitting in. I feel like I remember them as pews. I might be wrong, but when we walked in, I felt like I walked into a cafeteria or a gymnasium. There were people yelling. There were people, shouting all different things. And I tried once again to ignore it. I mean, I felt like I was going to be real safe, because once you walk in the courtroom, then you're safe. Then everyone is, the sheriffs are going to take care of it. And we sat down in first or second row, and there was a guy behind me that kept leaning up. He leaned up to me and said, he sort of screamed it out. I mean, he screamed it out loud, and he goes, "I don't want to sit next to this piece of SHIT mother effer." He's screaming that out, and I didn't want to turn around. I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to have to deal with him. And there were people, just comments coming all over, and there were media people sitting in there. There were just, I don't even know who these other people were. This guy did not look like a reporter to me. I can't imagine that he would be. But someone in the back corner, had screamed out, and this was something that I just, every single time I come to something like this, a public event like this, I mean, I'm still scared about something like this. But they said, he said, "You're a dead man walking." And I mean, I was doing my best to try to, keep it together, but to hear someone and it's behind you, you can't see it. You can't see who it is. And finally, I think it started to settle down, but the entire time, Mr. Nifong had been standing there in the room, and I didn't really know what he looked like, so I wouldn't have, noticed him. And he had been shuffling his papers around. He had been, staying at a desk, and I know he was there for some of the time, and he'd been shuffling his papers while, this was going on. And finally, Judge Stevens came in and sort of gave a speech saying, "This is my courtroom. No one's going to behave like that, or you'll get thrown out, or something, whatever he had said." But that at that point, finally, things started to settle down.
Can you